First of all, welcome everybody. Wonderful to have you here at this webinar, which is about International Data Week, a large conference that we are hosting and organizing together with CODATA, the World Data System, and the Research Data Alliance. But more about that in a moment. First of all, I would like to acknowledge and celebrate the first Australians on whose land the conference will be taking place, and also on the lands on which I am based. And for me personally, that's the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. And I would like to pay my respects to the elders past and present. So, welcome everybody. It's great to have you here. And we have a stellar lineup of speakers today. I'll be joined by a number of great speakers that will be able to share a whole range of different aspects about International Data Week. So first of all, we will have Matt Mayernik. Matt is Deputy Director of the Library at the National Center of Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado. He will be speaking about SciDataCon conference, which is part of the larger conference, and he can speak about CODATA and the World Data System. We will also have Ioana Chan Mao, who is Professor Computing and Computer Education at the National University of Samoa. And it's great to have you here, Ioana. And Joanna is one of the regional champions that we have that is out there in the countries around Australia and is spruiking about the conference and why it's such an amazing opportunity. Claire is also with us, Claire Rye, and she's Product Manager of Data Services at NeSI, the New Zealand eScience infrastructure. Also co-chair for the World Data System Early Career Researchers Network. And Claire will also be providing her perspectives as a regional champion in New Zealand. We also have as a speaker Trish Radotic. She's our Research Data Alliance Regional Community Manager for Australasia and the Pacific. And she can speak about the Research Data Alliance and the Research Data Alliance Plenary part of the conference. And finally, we also have Lauren. And Lauren, we're really happy to have Lauren as our conference coordinator, organizing it all, making it all happen, pulling it all together, and playing a critical role in making it cut and bringing all the bits together. So, next slide, please, Lauren. So, first off, I think probably I'll hand over to our CEO, Rosie Hicks, who will provide a nice introduction to International Data Week and why it'd be good for you to attend.
I'm Rosie Hicks. I'm the Chief Executive of the Australian Research Data Commons. And I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the conference organisers, the International Science Council's Committee on Data, CODATA, the World Data System, the Research Data Alliance, and the ARDC. Join us for the next International Data Week in Brisbane, Australia, for the 13th to the 16th of October 2025. The theme for this conference is Data for Positive Change. We're exploring the role of data by empowering communities and advancing research. It's important to ARDC to hold International Data Week to build and strengthen ties between research data communities in Australia and the Asia-Pacific region. We're seeking to establish groups and connections to advocate for fair research and appropriate data sharing practices across our region. And of course, for you coming to Brisbane, you'll have a world-class conference with keynote talks, workshops, interactive sessions, opportunities to connect with your peers, and site visits to local research facilities. All with warm Australian hospitality, access to the unique natural wonders of Queensland from ancient rainforests to golden sandy beaches and the Great Barrier Reef. This is the first time the conference has been held in Australia, home to one of the oldest living cultures of the world. And the programme and related events will cover topics unique to Australia and the region: careful Indigenous data governance, natural hazards, building food security, And to do this, we need fair data, artificial intelligence, open research, and federated and connected systems to achieve this. We're empowering the global data community for impact, for equity, and for inclusion. So come and join us, explore how data can make change and deliver impact to research and society. And I look forward to welcoming you in person in Brisbane for IDW 2025.
Yeah, sorry. And as Rosie mentioned, the theme for the Conference of International Data Week is Data for Positive Change. It's looking really at empowering communities and advancing research and the role that data can play to make that happen and to advance the research we are conducting. So next slide, please. Just some practical details again. It's going to be taking place on the Monday the 13th till Thursday the 16th of October this year in Brisbane at the Convention Centre. It will be in person. It will also be possible to attend online. And at the website, you can find all the recent information. And there's a lot of information there about not only the abstracts and the process for submitting abstracts, registration, but also practical information about Brisbane and the surrounding. Next slide, please. Yes, so International Data Week is a conference that only takes place once every 2 years, and it happens in various places around the globe. And it is a joint conference organized by the Committee on Data of the International Science Council, the World Data System, also from the International Science Council, and the Research Data Alliance. So we'll be hearing from from a number of those perspectives today, and the purpose of the conference is to bring together a whole range of people from that global data community to improve science and society, and very much looking at the role that data plays to enable discovery and innovation. The host for the conference this time, and that's us, the Australian Research Data Commons, and we're an Australian organisation that drives the development of national digital research infrastructure. And I'll speak a little bit more about us later. So who can you normally expect at International Data Week? Quite a wide audience ranging from data scientists and researchers to industry leaders, entrepreneurs, policymakers, data stewards, but also those that develop the data infrastructure and deliver that data infrastructure for researchers all around the globe. Next slide, please. To give you a sense of what this looks like, we've included 4 of the previous editions of International Data Week. So the very first took place in 2016 in Denver, Colorado, had over 800 attendees from more than 40 countries, and a nice mix of people from research, but also from data centers, from government enterprises, libraries, etc. So Gaborone, again, over 800 attendees. Next slide, please. The next one was just after all the COVID lockdowns, and that was in Seoul, in Korea. Also over 800 attendees. That one had a smaller amount on site and a lot of virtual because of the time in our global landscape. And the most recent one was in Salzburg, and there you saw the mix swing back to lots of people on site and a few people attending virtually, again from over 40 countries. Next slide, please. So it's a joint conference. It's actually 2 conferences joined up. One is the SciDataCon conference, which is jointly organized by CODATA and the World Data System, and the other is the Research Data Alliance Plenary. So next slide, please. So before we get to those 2 conferences and what they look like and how you can best submit proposals for those, I'll just provide a little bit of an insight into the Australian Research Data Commons. So we are the hosts for this conference. We are the leading research data infrastructure facility in Australia. We are funded through the Commonwealth's National Collaborative Research Infrastructure Strategy, and in partnership with the research community, we are building what we call thematic research data commons is a place where researchers, industry and government can come together to analyze data, bring together data, and meet Australian research needs. We provide Australian research community also underpinning these thematic research data commons with fast interactive self-service computing infrastructure in the form of Nectar Research Cloud. And underpinning this, we also provide a layer of information about the data assets and the research that's conducted. And we call that a layer of national information infrastructure and persistent identifier services to connect all the pieces together. Researchers and the infrastructure people need the actual skills to be able to deliver that. So we run a program of skills delivery, skills development for researchers and infrastructure providers so that this whole landscape comes together and is neatly delivered. We do this in Australia, but we can't do this on our own. And that's where we really like to work together in an international landscape and have been active in CODATA committees and in the Research Data Alliance. And we were very excited when the opportunity came around to host International Data Week. So we're very excited to be doing this and to give you a sense of why we think International Data Week is the place to be. We see it as the international event that addresses frontier issues of data in research, both technical and social, gives you a chance to network with your knowledgeable peers from all around the world, across all disciplines and all range of different stakeholders in the research endeavor. You'll get keynotes, high-level panels, and discussion sessions with world-renowned experts, and you can present and learn about the state-of-the-art data sharing and reuse. So this is a real amazing opportunity because this conference doesn't come around very often anyway and has never taken place in this part of the world before. So grab this opportunity and join us. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, the conference actually consists of two parts. There's on the one hand the SciDataCon conference, and the second part is the Research Data Alliance Plenary. So first I'll hand over to Matt Mayernik, and he will speak about SciDataCon, about a conference, what that looks like and what the process is to submit there for that. And I think he has some very exciting news to share with us this morning. So Matt, over to you.
I do. Thank you, Keith. So yes, so I'm happy to represent CODATA and the World Data System here. I'm in addition to, as Keith mentioned in my introduction, at the National Center for Atmospheric Research, which is based in Boulder, Colorado. I'm also the editor-in-chief of the CODATA Data Science Journal. So that's kind of my role within CODATA's leadership. I'm representing that group here. So I have a couple slides on each of the groups, or one slide each on the World Data System and then CODATA, just so you can have some context for the conference. And then I'll talk about, as Keith said, the details of the conference. And good news, we've moved our deadline back slightly, so you'll have a little more time if you're working on submissions. I'll get into that in a couple slides. So the World Data System, as it says here, is a network of digital repositories, data repositories. It's been around in various forms, I believe, since the 1960s, perhaps even earlier. It is also affiliated with the International Science Council. It has a mission to enhance data repositories by providing a network of trusted communities of data repositories, strengthening scientific enterprise. So that's really the focus, is scientific data repositories, as well as other affiliated organizations, and advocating for accessible data and transparent and reproducible science. And then it has several goals, as shown here, which are very much aligned with the goals of the conference of SciDataCon, which is providing support and really an opportunity, as Keith said, for repositories in the scientific data space to network, learn from each other, advance their own collective interests, demonstrate global leadership and governance, and advocate for fair data and all the associated principles there. So next slide, please. CODATA is very much aligned with the WDS, which is why the two have been partnering on this conference for over a decade at this point. CODATA is the Committee on Data of the International Science Council. It has a vision and has also been working in this space for, I think, at least 50 years. I should have looked up the dates ahead of time, but both of these are long-lived organizations. The mission of CODATA is to connect data and people to advance science and improve the world. And it promotes fair data and associated efforts. Again, the three strategic priorities of CODATA very much align with the efforts of this conference, as you saw in the video as well. making data work for cross-domain grand challenges, promoting data policy, putting data science and AI in service of science, and really promoting the interests of the membership. Next slide, please. So a little bit about SciDataCon now. It really focuses on these topics that we've already been hearing about. Policy, how data fits into the scientific endeavor and scholarly communications, the opportunities of the data revolution for global enterprise, innovations in data science and stewardship, sustainable data ecosystems, and education and capacity building. So it has gone for a number of iterations now, as Keith showed in his slides. And I think this is a great opportunity for all of us, including myself, who've never been down to Australia, to come down to your area and have more engagement with folks from your region. I'll get into a little bit more in future slides, but it does have, all of the submissions are peer-reviewed, sessions and individual papers. And the focus, again, is the science of data and data stewardship and how those complement the efforts towards global scientific advancements. It is truly an international meeting, as Keith said. I've been able to attend a couple times, and I think it's been a great meeting when I've been able to attend. I'll mention as well, since I'm the editor-in-chief of the Data Science Journal, that we do have a special collection of papers that have come from the International Data Week in the past. Not all submissions are automatically, or I should say, any submission is not automatically accepted into the journal. It's an opportunity for you after the fact if you want to write up your project in more detail or submit your work to a journal. We can then collect those in a special collection. So that's an optional opportunity after the conference if you're really excited about what you've done and you want to develop it further. Next slide, please. So there are several themes specific to this conference and then some standing themes, which I'll mention as well. Care and Indigenous data governance is a theme of the conference this year as a whole, and SciDataCon as well. Rigorous, responsible, and reproducible science, open research through interconnected, interoperable, and interdisciplinary data, empowering the global data community, infrastructures to support data-intensive research, and then the transformative role of data in sustainable development goals and disaster resilience. And then the persistent themes capture common topics that I think encompass the missions of these organizations. Well, I pulled them over on my list here, but that's work related to data science and data analysis generally, as well as data stewardship, policies and practices of data and research, data and education, data and society and ethics, and then open data, fair data, as well as innovation for industry and development. So there's many topics, and I think what we're really interested in is, what are you interested in, and what are you wanting to dig into more with this community of folks who will be coming to Australia? Next slide, please. So the announcement that Keith hinted at is that the deadline has been moved back to Friday, April 25th. So if you are hounding your collaborators, as I know I am as well, on getting some information for the deadline, which had been for next week, you have a little more time, so you can not have to work over this weekend if you're not quite there yet. So April 25th is the deadline for sessions and individual presentations, and then the poster deadline has remained the same, which is May 15th. The session proposals are for 90-minute full sessions. So those are the opportunity if you have a number of speakers or collaborators that you already have identified or that you'd like to bring together yourself, and themes and topics that you really want to dig into in depth in a full session. That's the opportunity for you to put that together as a full session proposal. The presentations and posters are, I'd say, more standard, kind of individual project focused. Those I think have a shorter duration and are grouped after the fact by the conference organizing committee into themes and into sessions. So now if you have a big idea, a number of potential speakers, the session proposal might be for you. If you want to really focus on your own project, then posters and presentations are focused for that purpose. Next slide, please. So just a little bit on the mechanics. I won't go into the details. It should be fairly straightforward. You do need to create a new account if you've gone to SciDataCon before. We do have a new system, so any information or accounts from the previous system were not moved over. That should be pretty straightforward. As I mentioned, you do need to indicate your contribution type if you're doing a full session or an individual presentation or poster. So just make sure you do that when you put in your submission. And then there is guidance available on the SciDataCon website if you have issues with the submissions. And of course, there's the email listed at the bottom for any questions. So we're really looking forward to any submissions you might have. If you do have questions, let us know. I think there's a lot of opportunity to define scope, and so we're looking forward to your contributions, and I'm looking forward to coming down and seeing all of you there. So I'll turn it now to Trish, who's going to talk about the other half of the meeting, which is the RDA Plenary.
Thanks, Matt. That's terrific. So yes, so the second part of the conference is the Research Data Alliance 25th plenary meeting. We call RDA P25. Next slide, please, Lauren. So just a little bit about the RDA. The Research Data Alliance was formed 11 years ago. Our mission is to build the social and technical bridges that enable open sharing and reuse of data. So the social bridges are our communities. The technical bridges are the outputs, standards, policies, and that kind of thing. We have a vision that researchers and innovators openly share and reuse data across technologies, disciplines, and countries to address the grand challenges of society. Next, Lauren, please. We're guided by these guiding principles, which really ensure that everything that we do is open. We have transparency, and we work very harmoniously. Next slide, please, Lauren. So this is the heart of the RDA. In a nutshell, we're comprised of over 15,000 individual members across 150 countries, mostly in Europe and North America. And so we're really trying to grow the community in this region, in Oceania, South Pacific, New Zealand, as well as Asia. We're also comprised of organizations like the ARDC. We are an organizational member. And we also have regional members. So I didn't introduce myself, actually. I'm Trish Radotic from the Australian Research Data Commons, but I work with the Research Data Alliance as the Oceania and East Asia community manager. So I sit within ARDC here in Perth, Western Australia, and as an organizational member. ARDC are supportive of RDA through funding as well as resourcing. And my position with the RDA is to help the Secretariat grow the community in this region. So at the heart of the RDA are our individuals, our organizations and regions. And the way we work is through groups. So we have interest groups, which are broad kind of domains, and then working groups are spun out of these interest groups to develop an output over a specific number of months, usually 12 to 24 months, with an output in mind, adoption strategy in mind, very clear direction. And that working group has that schedule to hit. Now, the plenaries, the conferences that we have that we run twice a year, give the working groups and interest groups an opportunity to share their progress. And that's why these conferences are very important and really part of how the RDA works. So we have these interest groups, working groups, and communities of practice. The communities of practice come about from a need, really. Everything that the RDA does is bottom up. So we are community driven. All the groups that are spun out through the RDA ecosystem because somebody has a local challenge and they're looking to the global community to help them solve this local data challenge. And if there's enough interest, enough motivation to get this group going, the group goes through the process of setting up through the RDA, and we support them in the Secretariat, but it's very much a bottom-up organization and driven by the community. Next slide, please, Lauren. A little bit about how the plenaries work. So we have 2 conferences a year, which give the groups a deadline. So they typically meet once a month, and we have over 100 groups, interest and working groups, to progress their work. Now, we have 1 virtual plenary a year, and we're right in the middle of it now. Today is the last day of RDA plenary, virtual plenary 24, which has been running since Monday and has covered all the time zones in the world. So those who've participated in RDA VP24 are probably needing a lot of coffee right about now. We're working, till 2 a.m., waking up at 6 a.m. And it's been just fabulous to see and meet so many people around the world. That is really the beautiful thing about these global organizations. So these plenaries offer an opportunity to network, obviously, progress your work and show the wider community what you're doing. But we call them plenary meetings because unlike a typical conference, our plenary meetings are working meetings. So we have the groups meet in these 90-minute sessions. They'll typically present their work and progress, and then there'll be an interactive session of about an hour where they engage with the audience and get feedback and really progress the work in a very interactive way. So even if you're not part of the group, you're very welcome to join these sessions and contribute as much or as little as you like. And it's a wonderful way to hop in and out and see how the groups work. All our sessions are recorded as well. So if you miss it because of time zone differences or because there are 4 other sessions that you want to see and you're sitting in one of them, you can view the collaborative notes and the recording within the next day. Usually it's released. So we have one virtual plenary a year, and then we have one hybrid plenary a year. And every 2 years, it's with International Data Week. And we're very fortunate this year to be hosted by the ARDC here in Brisbane, Australia in October. So that will be our RDA P25, our 25th meeting so far. So that will be a hybrid meeting, and we're really looking forward to that. Next slide, please, Lauren. So this is the conference in a snapshot for RDA. We have the themes of the conference that Keith and SciDataCon and Matt have already shared this morning. On top of that, we have identified 8 pathways for RDA attendees to help navigate a very complex program. So we will have up to 50 sessions available at IDW. These are breakout sessions, and we will organize them in these through these pathways. So it makes it easier if you're interested in fair care and trust adoption and implementation. That is a different pathway to fair care, trust, evaluation and policy, and it'll help guide you in planning your plenary experience. So when you do the submission, you will choose which pathways are relevant to your submission, and it's not just one, it can be many. And sessions abstracts deadline is on the 15th of April, which seemed, really great because SciDataCon's was a little bit earlier than ours, but now this is the deadline, 15th of April, and our posters are also due on the 16th of May. So we've still got a bit of time to get your session applications in. If you're already part of a group, your group is probably already in the midst of planning their submission for the 15th of April. If you're not part of a group, but you have an idea for a local data challenge and you want to reach out to the community and see if there's anyone that has a similar challenge or who would like to help you solve that challenge, we do have birds of a feather sessions as well. So you can apply, do your abstract submission for a birds of a feather, where you as an individual or a small group can pitch an idea. You'll have 90 minutes as well. All the sessions are 90 minutes long. So you'll have 90 minutes to pitch your idea and get some feedback on whether this is something that is a problem for anyone else. And whether it's positive or negative, it's all good feedback, and you'll have an opportunity to really reach a global community, both in person and hybrid. The other opportunity, if you're not already part of groups, is to present a poster. So as an individual or a unit, you can submit a poster and do the poster session as well. But we do encourage that between now and October, if you're not already an RDA member, you can join. It's completely free as an individual. You can join on our website, RDA website, and sign up as a member. And once you're a member, you can then go through the groups and browse the groups choose which ones you want to belong to, and over the month, see which groups you want to actually be engaging with. And you, by IDW 2025, it might be that you're actually participating in those group sessions. But if you're not, that's completely fine. As I said, you can submit as an individual and come along to IDW and pick and choose your adventure. So we have, yes, everything is hybrid as well for our sessions. So you will have an opportunity to watch the recordings of those. Next slide, please, Lauren. Oh, and now I have the pleasure of introducing a couple of our regional champions for IDW 2025 from New Zealand and from Samoa. First up, we have Professor Ioana Chan Mao, who's from the National University of Samoa. She is one of our IDW 2025 champions, and she'll share her journey and her excitement about IDW. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Ioana.
Well, okay. Telephone, good morning from Samoa. Can I go to the next slide now? Thank you very much. I am Ioana Chan Mao, Professor of Computing and Computer Education from the National University and also a regional champion for IDW 2025. I want to start off by saying that I'm also a founding fellow of the Pacific Academy of Sciences, which was launched in October in Apia at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, CHOGM. Now, the Pacific Academy of Science was developed with the support of the International Science Council, also the ISC Regional Focal Point for Asia, and the Pacific, the Australian Academy of Sciences. And in a nutshell, the Pacific Academy serves as a vital hub for scientific collaboration. We're very new, knowledge sharing and policy influence in the Pacific. Next slide. So how did the ISC and the Regional Focal Point contribute to the formation of the Academy? Well, through facilitating regional consultations, through securing our initial funding, by providing strategic guidance. I know the Regional Focal Point is hosted at the Australian Academy of Science, and also by strengthening regional representation by advocating for Pacific voices in a lot of the global scientific discussions. Next slide. So what is the role of the Pacific Academy of Science? As I said, we're very new, and basically it arose to fill a critical gap in the Pacific, because before this there really hasn't been any formal mechanism for Pacific scholars to collectively informed decision making. Also within the environments in the Pacific, with increasing vulnerability, rapid environmental changes, there was an urgent need for scientific leadership to do the research to inform the science. In the area of indigenous and local knowledge, so this is one of the mandates of the Academy, is the need to integrate traditional wisdom together with scientific research. Empowering scholars, one of the aims to enable Pacific researchers to contribute to solutions at the national, regional, and hopefully at the global level. The commitment to sustainability, we're hoping that we will be that hub, the regional hub for science-driven development. The Academy also thrives on an interdisciplinary approach, offering policy advice and research support. So we also, not just in the sciences, but also across the social science dimension. And we're hoping that by doing the research that we would be able to influence public policy and having science-backed solutions in the area Pacific communities. Next slide. So what are the benefits of IDW? 2025 to the Academy and to Pacific researchers? Well, since IDW 2025 is focused on data for positive change, this will provide a great opportunity to showcase how data-driven research is shaping the future of the Pacific, not just to showcase, but also to learn from the various participation of the participants in IDW. Showcasing, again, as I said, Pacific research, especially on key areas such as climate resilience, biodiversity, and sustainability. And of course, Indigenous data governance, as I said, one of the aims is to contribute to discussions on integrating traditional knowledge with modern data science. Again, the need for building global collaborations. This is one of the benefits of joining this IDW 2025. So it will give us the opportunity to connect Pacific scholars with international experts in data-driven research. Of course, in the area of capacity building, and this is something that we are in dire need of, gaining access to training on fair data principles. As you know, that data be findable, accessible, interpretable, and reusable. And then last but not least, policy inference, the ability to use IDW 2025 as a platform to advocate for data-informed decision-making that hopefully will benefit us, the Pacific communities. So this, in a nutshell, is my presentation for today. And I'm hoping to see everyone either virtually, online, or in person, Brisbane, 13th to the 16th of October this year. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Well, that's a hard act to follow. So I'm Claire Rai. Kia ora tātou. Good morning. So I'm calling in from Auckland, and based at the New Zealand eScience infrastructure. So I guess I wear a few hats, and was fortunate enough to attend International Data Week 2 years ago in Salzburg. So I was just going to give a brief kind of overview of I guess my experience and reasons I'm keen to head to Brisbane. So the meeting was really interesting. It's really interesting having the 3 data organizations co-hosted like this. I guess NeSI is an organizational member of RDA, so I'm also an individual member of a few working groups. So it's great to have those meetings in person, as opposed to, although they always work very well online, it's nice to meet people as well. And then on the SciDataCon side, I'm a World Data Science Early Career Researcher co-chair. So we have a network, as does CODATA, and of course RDA has a Early Career Researcher interest group. So kind of all 3 have that, and I think this time around we're going to really try and have a bit more of a focus on early career researchers, and we're planning with the other networks to put in a sort of a complete session, really trying to focus around early career researchers, and we've got a few plans in motion about what else we can do, but keen to hear people's thoughts if they've got any suggestions on that as well. And then I guess last time round I presented at SciDataCon on a sort of a national infrastructures session where we'd looked at actually counting data, which actually is not as easy as you might think, with some alongside some Australian colleagues, Reese Francis and Eileen Sue, who'd surveyed all the institutes in Australia and asked them how much data do you have? What is it? And then we'd done the same in New Zealand. And so we presented that work. We think it's kind of pretty much we're the only countries mad enough to try. And so we got some really interesting feedback, and I think a slightly different audience to perhaps the typical conferences I've been to as well. So I think I'm really excited with this next one with the theme of data for positive change. I think that's really good. The food at the last one was terrible, but I'm sure our Australian hosts have that covered. So I that was just one of those amusing things for a conference, but I think I'm sure this one will be excellent. Yeah, I'll leave it there. But no, a very, very exciting meeting. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Claire. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren. I'm with the Australian Research Data Commons, and I'll jump in just really quickly to give you a little bit more information about the registration, the venue, and the location, because I'm sure after all these testimonials, you are very excited to submit your abstracts, and then next thing you're going to do, I'm sure, is register immediately. So we have a few different registration options. We have the full ticket registration, which gives you access to everything. That's from the 13th to the 16th of October. That's all of that. You've also got access, complimentary ticket to the welcome reception and poster session. We do have a social event on the Wednesday evening, and that will come at an additional cost. So that's the only thing that full ticket does not include. But we've also got day tickets available for a single day, and then virtual tickets, which will be available at a later date. But as you can see, we've still got our early bird pricing available for you, which is discounted before it will go up in July. So we've got that full registration. We've got the student discount. We've also got a discount for low to middle income countries. And then we've also got day registration options there. I've got a QR code on this slide, and that just takes you to a little bit more information about the low to middle income country grants that we do have available and how you might be able to apply for that. And on the bottom of left-hand corner of the slide is the link with the registration information where you can find more about that. So as I mentioned, this is everything that gets included with your registration entitlements. You've got the daily catering, delegate materials, access to the exhibition, as well as everything in the conference. You've also got special rates for accommodation that's mere walking distance away, reduced tickets on public transport around Brisbane while you're here, opportunity to attend co-located events and workshops. These are really fantastic way to add value to your business trip. Add that to your submission when you're applying to attend this conference. And we also have a few optional tourism day trips available soon. So particularly if you are coming from internationally, we do recommend you arrive a couple of days before to help with that jet lag. And why not, see the region while you're here. For those co-located events, I've listed some that we have up at the moment. As I mentioned, these are a great way to add value to your business trip. These co-located events are either just before or just after International Data Week. So IDW is from Monday the 13th to Thursday the 16th. These will fall either the Friday before or the Friday after and the days surrounding. So we've got the supporting research software in research policy and funding programs, founding guide, eResearch Australasia, the Digital Research Skills Summit, and we've got much more. We are always updating this website, so please do have a look at that link there. It's for co-located events. Now, a little bit about our venue. So we will be hosting IDW at the Brisbane Convention and Exhibition Centre. It's located in the South Bank Parklands. We've got some beautiful photos just there so you can visualise it. The conference is in the heart of Brisbane. The venue has achieved that EarthCheck Platinum certification in 2021, and we have a number of supporting sustainability initiatives around this venue as well. The location is fantastic. We've got cafes, restaurants, shops nearby. We've got museums, art galleries, and a performing arts precinct. And this photo right here of Streets Beach is in South Bank Parklands. To my knowledge, it is the only man-made beach in the middle of a city. And so it's stunning, and it's a 3-minute walk from the conference venue. And you can pop and have a swim either before or after, because October will be a lovely time of year in Brisbane. So what's on your Australian bucket list? If you're coming over here, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Why not explore the Great Barrier Reef? Bring your family. I did that actually in the summer. Just now I did a reef trip, did snorkeling and diving on the Great Barrier Reef. Can't recommend it enough. Do you want to climb the Sydney Harbour Bridge, see the Sydney Opera House, explore all of these fantastic regions that we have in Australia? Again, I've got some websites at the bottom there, and this is all available on our website. So if you're locked in, bring the family, certainly explore the region. If the delegates who do have children, we do have childcare services available at your cost. And we've got a webpage available where you can find out more about those while you're attending the conference. So we send out monthly updates every month. It's got the latest news of what's happening with International Data Week. It's the keynote speakers as they're confirmed. It's more information about the social events. We've got Brisbane Uncovered. We've got reminders of visas and different elements as they're announced as soon as they are. So if you want to be the first to receive this news, please scan that QR code there so you are always getting the updates. And of course, our regional champions who are on this call here, as well as Natalia, thanks for joining. Our regional champions are also getting this information and sharing it throughout their networks first. So appreciate that. So we have our speakers were just announced just yesterday, Professor Marsha Langton, who will be one of our keynote speakers, and we will be announcing more and more speakers every month. We get now to Q&A. So I might leave this one up here and I'll throw to Keith. But what are your thoughts on stopping the recording for the questions, or do you want to leave it up?
Leave it up, Lauren. We've got some interesting things to add. I guess Keith will be running this section, but I thought I could just pop in while you're thinking of questions that you might want to ask. RDA Tiger, so the European Commission supports the RDA through one mechanism, RDA Tiger, which is a group, an organization that supports our working groups administratively and in so many ways. And they've just recently announced financial support travel grants to IDW Brisbane up to 1,500 euros, which is like 10,000 Australian. I don't know what the conversion is, but 1,500 euros travel grants for working groups members who are aligned and working in the space where it concretely aligns with open science initiatives. So you do need to be part of a working group. It is open to the European Horizon member countries. And I was trying to get a list together. What I'll do is I'll include a slide in the slide deck that we'll be sharing, which will outline some of the other countries that can participate. Definitely Samoa, Fiji, Tonga, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines. So not only can you take advantage of the subsidized registration for IDW, but you can also apply for these travel grants to help with the travel costs to Brisbane. So I'm really excited to share that, and I'll include that in a slide. Unfortunately, New Zealand, part of the Horizon Europe, but Pillar 2, which doesn't fit into the Open Science ECOS Pillar 1. And Canada is in the same boat, but a lot of our neighbors in Asia and the South Pacifics can definitely take advantage of this. So it would be really, we'd like to encourage you to have a look at the working groups that align with the Open Science Initiatives, EOSC, and RDA Tiger are really excited to be offering this, and it's a great way to, fund the trip over to Brisbane. I think that will take you quite far when you're only a few hours away. Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, Trish. Yes, no, that's great news. And yes, it'll be good to be able to provide a bit more of that detail. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat or unmute and raise them now. One question I've had in the previous webinars we've done about this is, how does it work in practice with the CODATA, so the SciDataCon sessions and the Research Data Alliance sessions? So to give you a bit of an impression, we have a number of plenary sessions, so large, yes, all together in a large room with a speaker on the stage. But after that, we have the breakout sessions, and the breakout sessions alternate. So there is a block of 90 minutes for the SciDataCon sessions. Then you have a break, and then there's another block of 90 minutes for the Research Data Alliance working group or interest group sessions. So if you look at the program, they sort of alternate one after the other. So it's not that there's one day focused on the Research Data Alliance or one day focused on SciDataCon. They alternate in the program, and it gives you a chance to experience both sides of the conference and both types of sessions and presentations. So I think, and that allows for a good integration between these two conferences.
For sure. And I agree, Keith. Also, when you buy your ticket to the conference, that gets you access to sessions, both SciDataCon and RDA. And as Trish mentioned earlier, we will be creating pathways of recommendations should you wish to follow them based on your area or your topic of interest. But again, as Trish mentioned, it's a choose your own adventure. So you get access to it all.
And just on that, with the sessions, for example, the RDA block that you'll have, there'll be parallel sessions running within that. So I don't know how many rooms we'll have going, but each of those breakout rooms will be a separate session within the RDA block. There might be 5 or 8 sessions running in parallel, but that will be for the RDA session block.
Yes, and to give a sense of the scale of the conference, it's a large conference. So we'll probably have at least 8 parallel sessions running, both in those SciDataCon sessions and in the Research Data Alliance sessions. So there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on. It's great fun.
And just a final plug on that one. So we'd love to have you involved. We spoke about how submission deadlines have been extended for SciDataCon, and we've got that for RDA as well. So this is your chance to please, submit your proposals and join us and help present in this session and contribute to this global community.
Yeah, we do. I mean, Lauren mentioned the co-located events also have eResearch Australasia the week after, and a number of other co-located events. I had somebody ask in the RDA plenary that we've got running at the moment, the virtual plenary, which co-located events have we had confirmed. So I shared the IDW website link, and that's really the point of truth. As soon as we know the dates are confirmed, we'll put it up on there. But there's a lot of excitement about the other meetings that could potentially run, because you've got this massive global community coming into one city. Plus, we've got eResearch Australasia, a very local, focused regional conference. So you'll have access to these experts, and it's a great opportunity. If you're thinking outside of IDW for a co-located event, you can reach out to the organizers and share that information.
Any questions? Well, if there's no further questions, I'm hoping this gives you a bit of a sense of the conference and how it works and how it brings together SciDataCon and Research Data Alliance into an integrated conference with all the co-located events alongside it. So a great opportunity to explore. Come to Australia, explore. We'd love to see you there in person. And we'd love to have you there. Yes, Heather, thank you. Yes, it would be great to have you there. So we're looking forward to welcoming you to Brisbane, Australia, in person if possible. If you are not able to come in person, it is possible to register online. The koala competition is, Heather, sorry, Lauren, where's the koala competition at?
Koala competition closed at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So it closed 57 minutes ago. Sorry. But we do, so all submissions are in, but it brings up another great point. Trish, we'd love you all to help us vote for People's Choice. So we have a koala competition, and people have submitted selfies with their little koalas on our website. Trish, if you also put that link in the chat, we'll share that one. And we've got a People's Choice competition, and also the International Organising Committee will also select another winner. But the winner each get one complimentary registration to IDW. So we'd love your vote to vote for your favourite one for People's Choice.
Okay, well, thank you all for your time. Thank you for coming to this webinar, and a big thank you to all our speakers for today. Thank you for sharing your perspectives and your views and your experiences at International Data Week. It will be great to have you there, and look forward to seeing you in Australia around the 13th of October. Okay, thank you all.